Debbie.
And I'm Jan.
And this is the Villages 365.
And we are here to talk about the things to do in and around the villages.
And there's lots of things to do. We were talking about this earlier. Florida is definitely a vacation destination, so there's many more than we can even list, but we just want to give you some of the places that we've been, some of the things we've seen, and some of our favorites.
Right, and you can always get online and things to do in Florida, and a bunch of things will pop up.
Yep. So one of my things that's very close to the villages to do is if I don't want to golf in the villages, there's a golf course it's in between Ocala and the villages, and it's called Baseline. And so it's about a 20-minute drive, I would say.
Yeah,
and
especially from your house.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's straight up 301, and then you take 441 to Baseline Road. So it's pretty close, but it is a 19-hole course. It is unique from the standpoint you don't make reservations. There's no tee time, so you literally just drive up there when you're ready to golf, and you wait in line for as long as it takes to get you off. Honestly, we've never waited that long. I mean, I think the longest I waited was like 20 minutes, and that wasn't terrible anyway.
And I've only been there once.
Have you? Okay.
But they do have a really good clothing and gift shop. Their
pro
shop
shops
is very, very nice, and a lot of people from the villages go up there. It's a little cheaper.
It is.
Yeah.
And they've got the same stuff, Annika and all the same brands.
Yep.
And the reason I like that course, so I think it's all par threes. I don't think there's anything higher than a par three. But like the one hole, they have 19 holes. So the one hole is an island hole. And so that's kind of cool to try and challenge yourself to see if you can't get it on the island. And it used to be a nursery. So just the landscape and stuff is it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to play. So it's a fun little getaway from the villages, very close. And I would say that's a worthwhile course to go play.
Right, and there's a lot of villagers that go up there.
Mm-hmm.
And because you do the same ones around here, even though there's a lot of them, it's kind of nice to go somewhere different.
Mm-hmm.
Get off campus.
Yeah, out of the bubble.
Let's see. One of the things that we have done, we don't get outside the villages very often because my husband likes to go everywhere by golf cart.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have companies, usually when we go somewhere. But one thing that we have done is airboat rides. And there's different companies. There's Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
And Wild Bill's. And they're really pretty fun. It's nice to take kids there, and you usually see gators and all sorts of wildlife, and there's a natural spring.
My stomach's growling.
A natural spring that you can go in, and it's really fun. And then towards the end, don't sit in the front. Towards the end, you'll start spinning around, and as it goes around, the front seats get wet. So you always put the kids up there because they think that's really fun. But one of the places has that huge gator.
And we looked into it. I didn't ever make it there, but I looked into Tom and Jerry's because my brother was coming and we were gonna go. And if I recall correctly, so don't quote me exactly, but I think it was about $40 per person. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've gone. So.
Okay. I think it was about $40 per person. It's about 45 minutes from the villages. And they did suggest reservations. So he was coming down in the springtime, which anywhere here in over spring break-ish, we would recommend reservations if you can get them, if the places take them. So, but anyway,
crowded.
Yeah, they did recommend reservations and everything. So, but to give you an idea on the pricing, I believe that's what it was, and that was Tom and Jerry's. So that we looked into.
Yeah, and I think we've done Tom and Jerry's and Wild Bill's, but one of them has a huge, giant gator at the place, and you kind of think he's dead, but he's not. He's just leaning there.
That would be exciting.
I know, it's cute.
So, an obvious one to me is Disney and all the parks, Universal. Again, so to give you an idea of depending on where you live. So we live further north in the villages. It takes me about an hour and 15 to get to the parks, to Disney and Universal and all of that. So if you are in the newer section, like DeLuna and that area, my guess is you're looking at more like 40 minutes probably to get to the parks.
Yeah, you can hop right on the turnpike.
But the nice thing is that we can get Disney and the parks typically give Florida residents a discount. Now that said, We have asked because we were curious. Doesn't matter if family's staying with you, you get the discount, they do not.
Yeah.
So you have to have your Florida ID in order to get the discounted tickets. But that's kind of nice because a lot of people, when they've got kids that age, want to come down and want to do the parks. But the thing that I like though is it saves you a lot of money because you don't have to stay at a hotel there, which is very expensive.
And the food and, and the drink and the soda and all the,
So
all
they're
that.
going up and down. And I haven't checked into it yet this year because we haven't gone, but I did see something on the news that said Disney was going to, they always used to charge you to park there. And they said the parking was going to be free. Now, mind you, they raised the ticket prices. So they're actually going to benefit because you get more people than cars, so they're going to benefit. But at least I guess that's a plus, is that you're getting a discounted. You're not having to pay for your parking.
Right, and they did just come out with something for Florida residents that you can buy some kind of package, and you can go to a different park during a specific and you can only in one day, so you can go down and go to one park, and then next week do the other one, and it was a pretty good discount for so they do that. And I've really never been to Disney except a half marathon. I've run through it, but I've been to Disneyland
I love Disney.
years and years
Disney
ago, but my husband doesn't like to stand in line, so.
Mine doesn't either, so we sit him on a bench
That's
and
out.
the kids and I go nuts.
Let's see. I was just in the Winter Park yesterday, and it is a charming place. They have a downtown Winter Park with lots of unique shops and restaurants, and there's a museum. There's the science museum. There's an art museum, and it's just very quaint. And I would have never known it was even there unless I had a surgeon down there. So anyway, it's a fun place to go for the day, and you can shop. You can walk around. I'm trying to think of what else they have. They have fun. They call it downtown Winter Park, but it's hard to find a parking spot because everything's narrow, everything's old, but it's definitely worth a day trip. And I always enjoy going down there.
And another day trip that's very similar is Mount Dora. That's probably like an hour, I want to say, from us or so. Mm-hmm. And it's a really cute town. They're known for their arts, so that there's a lot of art shops down there. So you can see a lot of paintings and things like that. When Leo and I go down there, there's some hotels and restaurants right on the water. So we just sit at the water and have lunch or a cocktail or whatever and enjoy the day. But it's a pretty small town, and they have a lot of art festivals though.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know that we had some friends that come up and camp around there just for the month that they have some huge craft thing. And
well, there is an art festival that's specifically for artists, and so that one's a big one. So there may be a craft one too, but the art one is a huge festival there. So Mount Dora's.
And I have not been there. I think I've been kind of through there, but it's supposed to be kind of New English-ish, New England-ish.
I guess kind of.
Yeah.
The buildings are all older and
quaint.
But yeah, so it was. I mean, it's a fun day trip.
A lot of people go there,
but it's a lot of shopping. So this is the thing. I'm sounding like, it sounds like maybe Winter Garden is kind of the same, or is it?
Yeah, there's unique shops there.
Yeah. So if maybe leave your husband home, maybe you make it a girl day.
Or set them down in front of a craft beer
place. Yeah.
And then go shop.
Yep.
Let's see, within 100 miles, that's what I was trying to get. I'm going to talk about New Smyrna Beach. We used to take the grandkids there every year until we found out that it was the shark capital of the world. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of shark bites there. So we were bobbing them around like bait. So we didn't do that anymore, but it is pretty cool because you can drive on the beach, park your car, and the beach is huge, but it does attract, for some reason, I don't know if it's I think there's a river that flows right out there on that beach, which means there's fish and bait and what the big, but I think
lots of kids.
Yeah, and lots of kids splashing, but it is known for the great whites there, but and it's not always the great whites that bite somebody. The nurse sharks have bitten people, and also the dark fins, bluefin, blackfin shark was last year's big biter. But it's still a cool place if you want to just sit on the beach.
And we love the beach. So for me, my favorite beach is Clearwater Beach. So New Smyrna and Daytona, those are all on the East Coast, on the ocean side. And I love Clearwater Beach. That's actually my favorite beach, I think, to go to in Florida. So that's again, and I will say pretty much all the beach areas look the same. You go down A1A and it's all Ranjan, all the surf shops and little bars, little restaurants. And so they're all going to kind of be the same. But Clearwater Beach, for me, the water is beautiful there. The sand is so soft and beautiful. It's just, and when we parked there, because we all went there together, the parking is real easy. There's just so much parking along the main street there, and you just pay, it's those meters, you just punch in your plate, and you can pay, I think it was for 4 hours or something, and then you can just renew if you need it. But I've got a favorite restaurant there, and I can't think of the name of it.
But I'll find it. We probably have a picture.
Yeah, and it's right on the beach, and they have these amazing tuna bowls. That's my favorite. So anyway, I insist on going there every time. But Clearwater Beach is my favorite beach. That's my favorite beach in Florida.
And I think it's rated one of the top beaches anyway.
Yeah.
In the United States, and definitely in Florida. And we've gone there a couple times together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of in my thing of Tampa for a destination to do things, because Tampa's a great town, is growing like crazy since we first came here. They have really good craft beer. If you're into craft beer, there's several breweries that we like to hit. And
Ybor City's right there.
Ybor City's right there.
For the cigars, so if you're a cigar and
Leo and Mark's favorite.
Yeah. And that had some Spanish history to it, so that was kind of a neat town.
Yes.
It wasn't on my list, but when you're talking about Tampa,
because we like Tampa, and it's the nice thing about from here. There's lots of art and culture, and from here it's 3 lanes all the way. And once you get on the turnpike,
so Clearwater, I would say is, and I don't know the mileage wise. I do everything by time. Clearwater's just under 2 hours. So Tampa's probably an hour and a half-ish, would you say?
Yeah, you start getting in the traffic. It's about an hour and a half to get right to downtown.
Okay, so to give you an idea time-wise, what we're talking about here from the villages. So,
and something that we like to do in the villages, is golf. One of our favorite things. Golf cart riding, volleyball. There's so many things that you can do in the villages. We could go on and on and on about that.
Yeah, the activities here are endless with the sports, or as we've talked about with the clubs and stuff, you can do crafting, and there's always a show. And especially during the season, snowbird season, whatever you want to call it. But during this time, the villages is always ready to throw a party. So we'll have strawberry festival, we'll have blueberry festival, we'll have and at Christmas we did we'll have Mardi Gras. At Christmas they do the tree lightings. Any reason to have a party, there's a party here if you'd like to attend.
St. Patty's Day?
St. Patty's Day.
I think we've done a video on that.
Yeah.
The Strawberry Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go
Endless
on and on
activities.
about that. Yeah. The rec centers are awesome. The Sharon, they have shows, plays, bands, etc. So there's lots to do in the villages too, but then we like to go out. So.
Yes, it is nice to get away, because it gets very crowded here, but it's crowded in other parts of Florida. So we actually tend to go traveling more toward like May, June, so that everybody's kind of they've gone back home for the summer, and then that's when we like to do some of our Florida exploring, because it is pricey. So just like the villages is more expensive when you're renting a place here. During those months, it's the same everywhere. And I always feel like we live in paradise, so why do I want to go get in somebody else's congestion? I'll just stay here until it clears.
And the traffic also is better to get around.
Exactly.
Because right now the turnpike going south to Orlando's all torn up. They're trying to make it 3-lane further up, and then 441's a mess.
Under construction too.
And they're trying to make that wider because there's just more and more people coming down here, and even the villages building. You go towards Winter Garden, that place is really grown. And you can see them clearing land on both sides and brand new houses coming up. And so yeah, that's why we kind of like to do that.
Yeah.
Like you said.
One of my favorite places to go visit is Cape Canaveral. And actually, I just heard on the news the other day that the revenue for the actual port has gone through the roof, much higher than they expected. So the cool thing about Cape Canaveral is you have Cocoa Beach right there. So when we go visit, it's either Cape Canaveral, the Kennedy Space Center, whatever you want to call it, it's the same place. So when we go visit there, we usually stay on Cocoa Beach for the night and then drive, because that's about the closest that you can get as far as hotels and stuff go, because it's obviously it's a big military or government facility, so there's not a lot of hotels right around there. So, but we love to take people there, and I've gone there several different times with several different people, and every single time it's a different experience because they have different shows, different things going on there. We've not yet gone to see a launch because actually we can watch the launches here from the villages, which is kind of nice. But the upside of seeing the launch, as they said, you can feel the rumble, you hear the noise, all of that would be super cool. Downside is if you pay to get into the park and they scrub it, no refund. You've paid, so just enjoy your day at the park and go see what you can see. So that's the downside of it. I will also say, if you're a camper, we have gone, when we had our RV, we stayed at a place called Jetty Park, which is right next to Cocoa Beach and also Port Canaveral. So it was kind of cool. We were parked right along the water, and we'd watch the cruise ships come in the mornings and leave in the evenings, and that was kind of cool. Also, we were, like I said, right on the beach. We could enjoy Cocoa Beach. We could actually walk down to the pier, which was nice from where we were. So that was just a really cool campground to go to, and you can rent little cabins there. And so someday I want to go do that again and rent the little cabins.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Because and Cape Canaveral, it's an amazing place. So that's a lot of fun. So I highly recommend that. And especially if you have older children, not Disney age children, I feel like maybe, well, actually, in 4th grade, I think it is, throughout the nation, the kids get into national parks. Is it 4th grade?
I don't know.
Anyway, if you got grandkids, they'll know. It's like 3rd or 4th grade. I don't think it's 5th. It's like that. But anyway, you can get into all the national parks for free that year, because apparently that must be part of the curriculum for that age group. And so that is one of the national parks that my niece was able, we got her in free.
Huh. Now, the Kennedy Space Center, you can go in there and tour that? Is that?
Yeah, you go inside and they take you through, and I'll try and post some of the pictures from when we went. They take you through like the control center. Obviously it's not the current control center, but they take you through the control center. And they just give you an idea. There's different shows. We one time watched this video that was very much like a planetarium type thing. It was, you have the little 3D glasses and stuff. I mean, they've just got a lot of cool stuff. And then they've got some of the old retired rockets that are around that you can kind of see, and then you can sit in a capsule. I mean, there's a lot to it, so it's really
talked about
interesting.
taking the boys there.
They would love it.
Yeah, because they're only here during spring break, which is be a very busy time there too. But that is on our list to take them, because I think they would love it.
But that's another place too. You can get the tickets in advance, so that helps.
It does. Yeah. All right. Should we talk about Ocala?
Sure.
Ocala is just north here, half an hour.
Yep.
Depending on traffic.
Yep.
And they have a downtown historic that's pretty cool. And now I think it's golf cart accessible. They're letting people golf carts that are licensed, so you can drive up there. So there's more parking for people.
But you wouldn't be able to drive your golf cart from here there because even if it is licensed, you're on your speed limit is too high.
Right. And well, if you've drank too much, you might try to do that.
People have done it.
Yeah, that's true. They have 5 or 6 breweries. Then around Ocala, which I kind of like to drive around that area, there's beautiful horse farms, thoroughbred breeding, beautiful houses, and the barns are nicer than my house.
Well, as you said, New Smyrna's the shark capital of the world. Ocala is the horse capital of the world.
Yes.
That's what they're known for. They raise a lot of the thoroughbreds and stuff that you find on the race courses. Like in Illinois, we used to have Arlington National Park race course, which is not there anymore. But anyway, a lot of the horses there were born, raised, and trained here in Ocala.
Yeah, and John Travolta lives there too.
He does. He's got his own little private plane, private airport over there. So,
and there's some big houses, and it's just I like to kind of take the back roads going there, just because if you get away from the 441 and the regular roads, you can see a lot of scenery and beautiful horse. I'm a horse person, and beautiful horses. You have a friend that lives up there too, don't you?
I have a lot of friends that live up there because I play tennis up there, so I get to see them regularly. And one of my girlfriends owns Gals & Son. That's a jeweler there, so if you need anything done, they're wonderful and trustworthy. That's always what I worry about with jewelry. When you're leaving your expensive jewelry, I wouldn't know the difference if somebody swapped out a diamond. So anyway, so if you need a jeweler, go to her. But that said, it also has the World Equestrian Center. So as we're recording this video, I've not been there. I've heard wonderful things about it. I'm hoping to be going very soon, and so hopefully before we release this video, I'll be able to insert some pictures of our experience there. A lot of people get married there. It's apparently like a huge venue, and so we're going up to see the Clydesdales.
Oh.
They're going to be coming, and so.
And that's on that corner, like if you're going to Sanford, right? They'd have that big track for the trotters. Or is that a different farm?
That's a different one because this is in Ocala. The World Equestrian Center is actually in Ocala, so still part of the Ocala area. So, yeah. So I'll try and get some of those pictures in because I think we're going pretty soon here. So I should be able to sneak some in.
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't know. But I've heard things. One of my favorite things here to do in the villages is actually go to Corkscrew. So we did a video on Spanish Springs area, and I just think that concept is so cool. And I think they still have one in Ocala also, but there used to be two. It was the same owner.
There is one.
Are they still there?
Up, yeah.
Okay. But this is in Spanish Springs, and so it's a cute place. You can go in and you can drink wine. You can drink beer. Sometimes they have live entertainment. They just it's not like a big band. It's usually one singer with a guitar or whatever. So something a little bit more low key. No place to dance or anything. You're just literally there for conversation and some light entertainment. But the cool thing is, and we've both done this before, is you can make your own wine. We went with Janmark to an event where we each got a bottle of wine, but Leo and I have done it a couple times with other friends, and we have actually made a whole batch, and it yields like 20 to 30 bottles. And at the time, which of course, that was probably, I think the last time we did it was about 4 years ago, so counting in inflation, but I think we paid about $400, and it was about 30 bottles. Because I think it worked out to, we were looking at I think it worked out to like $15 a bottle or somewhere in that range. So anyway, but it was really good. And you can also brew your own beer there. So it's just a cool kind of process. They guide you through the whole thing. You can choose your flavors and all that. And
it's educational. I mean, the thing that we went to, the guy explained everything.
The process,
it's and we did it's in one of our, like you said, in one of our videos, and it's a cool place. They do have an amateur night. We went in there one night and it was amateur night, and if you come with your guitar, you can have the mic.
Okay, well, let me know what day that is because I'm not sure I want to go.
It was actually very
Were
good.
they good?
I don't think I would take mine up there and try to sing.
So it's not me karaokeing? It's not like that?
No, they're playing their own instrument, and and it's just, I think they don't call it amateur, open mic.
Gotcha.
I think is what it is. But
Fair enough.
And it's very busy during this time of year. A lot of people like it. So anyway, I also have St. Augustine. That's a little further than, and we've been there together. It's very historic. It's the oldest still occupied city in the United States. Like people are, and it was established, I think, in 1565. And it is, I mean, that's a whole day thing. There's so many things to,
or a
couple
even.
days. And right now they have their lights. In November, December, and January, they light up all that area, and a lot of people like to go stay all night. Some friends of ours just did it last week for her birthday. and see the lights at night. I guess it's fantastic, and I had never heard of that until she said she was going. But we had a good time there.
Yeah, that was fun, and there's a lot to see and do.
And the old fort,
There.
and
And you can take a tram, you can walk. Anyway, there's a whole lot to that area. And I personally, for me, I would suggest you do a couple days, because there is also lots of eating and shopping, but there's also all the historical things. You can go to the Fountain of Youth. You can go that jail, the
obviously I
oldest
skipped
jail.
that area, the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, stop. Well, and I drank the water there, and let me tell you, it's basically just put your mouth on a lead pipe. That's what it tastes like. It was kind of, tastes like rusty water to me, but anyway.
Yeah, the oldest school's there. I took a picture of it for my daughter because she teaches school, so.
Yeah, it's a very interesting area, and I think it's a place that you could easily spend 2-3 days, so it's a good weekend one. For me, one of my favorite places to go is the Orlando Tennis Center. I was just there for a couple tournaments over the past couple weekends, and if you're a tennis player, it's phenomenal. There's over 100 tennis courts. So they have clay courts, the hard true courts. They have hard courts. They have some indoor courts, which typically we don't play any of our tournaments on. We do everything outdoors. But if the weather's bad enough, too much rain, and they got to keep things moving, they will move us inside. There is a grill, so you can get food and drink there. It's fun. We have gone to they have a big stadium. UCF, I think it is their home. I think that's their home court. And so they've got a lot of matches there. So actually, that's really fun to go watch the college kids play. That's some incredible tennis. If you can't get to a pro tournament, I mean, that's some high level tennis that we get to see there. So they also have this thing called padel, which I just learned about. So now we have pickleball, which they had pickleball courts. There's something called platform tennis, which is within a cage. This is called padel, which is in a glass cage. And so we watched it a bit. They only have, I think, 3 or 4 courts there they had, but it was interesting. It's kind of like a platform tennis paddle. It's got a ball, which we didn't get to touch the ball, so I couldn't quite tell what it was, but it was almost a mix between racquetball
Yeah, I was going to ask if it's kind
and
of like
platform tennis. It was very interesting to watch, because you were definitely playing in platform tennis. You've got the cage, so it kind of slowly comes off the wires. And there it was coming off glass, kind of what I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'm not a racquetball player, but what I would imagine more racquetballish. So it was very interesting to watch that. So
can they play it up if it bounces off there like racquetball?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so it was some sort of combination of a bunch of sports, but another racket sport that somebody created apparently. So
I'm gonna have to look that up because
Yeah.
we used to play a lot of racquetball.
there were 3 or 4 courts there. So anyway, it's a great place to go if you're a racket fiend. They've got a pro shop in there with clothing, shoes, rackets. They also have stringing, so if you need stringing done, they have it right there. So anyway, if you're not a tennis player, it won't appeal to you, or if you're not a racket sport person, probably won't appeal to you, but it's incredible to see 100 courts all in one area. So anyway, if you're a tennis person, highly recommend going to visit that.
Okay, I'm gonna say one of the things to do, of course, in the villages are the squares.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can go early and shop and eat and see entertainment, just walk around, and it's kind of the central part of each area that there's always something going on. There's a people watching. We like to do the people watching, and so the squares. If you ask people about the villages, they talk about the squares.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorites.
One of my things too that is kind of local is Eaton's Beach. 20, well, depending on north or south. So up north, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Would you say, kind of?
Yeah.
I think it's Weirsdale if it was the town, but it's about 20 minutes away. It's not a huge beach, but it's a beach, and so it's a good place if you've got kids that like the sand and you don't want to drive all the way to the ocean or the Gulf. It's a nice place to have. They have a little restaurant there, or a fairly large restaurant. I shouldn't say little restaurant, fairly large restaurant.
They have volleyball too, don't they?
They have sand volleyball, and I'm thinking, if I remember right, the downstairs was more like a fine dining thing, and I think the upstairs was more of like the casual, let me get sloppy with some crab legs and things like that,
Right,
and
yeah.
a less, not that, I don't think downstairs is necessarily formal, but it's more of like a sit down thing, and the upstairs is a little more like burgers, casual, that sort of thing. So it's a great place to go if you'd like to go have a couple drinks and just sit on the beach. That's nice.
They also
Anyway,
have
it's close.
a place if you ride your horse there.
Oh, really? You can
A
tie your
hitching
horses?
post, yeah. Because we came out one time and there were like 4 horses that are tied up to the hitching posts, and of course I had to go over there and pet them. But yeah, I was real surprised.
So ride your horse over. It shouldn't be too bad. And so I'm going to cue you up on one that I don't know if you thought of, but I can never
Gator
remember.
Joe's?
I can never remember the name of it. So I was like, Jan's going to have to talk about it, but
Gator Joe's, after we decided not to feed our grandchildren to the
the sharks.
that we started going out there, and it's bar food. It's kind of famous for, there was a big gator that
Ma, whatever it
Ma
was.
Barker,
Ma Barker.
they were bragging that they had killed it, and that's how they kind of got discovered, and they were offed. But it's pretty good bar food. It's a very nice beach for kids because it goes out a long ways and it's shallow
Yeah.
for a long ways. So if you're not paying attention for a few minutes, they can't get into trouble because it takes them a long time to get into deep water. I would not recommend going on a weekend because it's very, very crowded. And it's crowded during spring break. And one time we went there, it was very, very cold, and they came out and said, well, you guys must not be from here. You're in the water. And I go, no, my grandkids are in the water. I am not in the water.
And that's near like Eaton's Beach. It's like, what would you say, 15, 20 minutes?
I think it's closer to get there than Eaton's Beach because you
Okay.
have to go a different way but you can.
It's not too far though.
Yeah,
it's
you can see
it's
it
a short
around.
run.
Eaton Beach is kind of on the
On
other
the other
side.
side.
But they used to have a drink called the Hurricane, and it came in a bucket, and it was kind of like a fruit type.
So take a DD.
Well, they don't make them in the big buckets anymore because I think they had too many people.
Buried in the sand?
Yeah, yeah. So they've cut down on the size of the drink, which is probably very, very smart.
Yeah.
And on the weekends, you will see a lot of bike riders, not bicycle riders, but
Motorcycle
riders. They like to
Bikers.
stop there for lunch and a beer. But it's a fun place to people watch also.
And also another one I want to ask you about because I have not been there, but you and Mark have also, and you love it. Orange Blossom Opera.
Yeah, and that's out there, same area, and they bring in different bands or people like a John Denver look-alike sing like John Denver, and some older famous people, and it's in an old gym. It's an old school, and they have some great entertainment.
And there's no food there, right? So this is just drinks and music, right?
Yes, and they didn't used to have alcohol. It was, alcohol free, but I think to compete with the Sharon and other places, you can get a little glass of wine or a beer. And then at halftime, not halftime, but in the break, you can go get an ice cream cone. They're very cheap. But yeah, that's usually full out there, and
And so can you get tickets ahead, do you know?
you can have them send you their entertainment. I get an email all the time of what's there. You think you can buy your ticket ahead of time, and no, I lost my train of thought. Dang it, I'm getting old. I'll think of it later. But anyway, it's a great place to go, and it's very reasonable ticket wise.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good. What else you got? Do you have any others? Or
Let's see, I'm looking.
I only have one more. I'll just do mine while you're looking. So Silver Springs is another one of my favorites, and that's up in Ocala. And that is, the waters are crystal clear. You can see all sorts of things. They've got glass bottom boats. They do have spots with gators and things like that. It's which again, I'd have to look at the pricing currently. I haven't been there for a couple of years, and the pricing may have changed, but it was always a very reasonable, like it's not like a Disney price tag. And it's in the northern part of Ocala, so I would say like from where I live, it's probably 45-50 minutes or so to get up there. But it's a great place to take, and I think that's a kids of all ages sort of thing, even adults. I mean, it's a fun place for adults to go and stuff, but they've got all the natural springs. You can see the manatees, things like that.
Can you swim with the manatees there, or do you do that in Crystal River?
That's in Crystal River. Yeah, I don't think Silver Springs is doing that. But anyway, it's a natural park, so it's just a really pretty place to go. It's a fun place to go if you're looking for something to just do. It's a day trip. So we kind of, most of these we try to do are kind of day trips. You know, obviously, like we said, St. Augustine's a couple days. I could spend a couple days in Clearwater, but then I could just lay on the beach for a couple days because it's so enjoyable for me. But anyway, most of these are day trips that, you know, you can easily reach, do, and then come home at night. So
yeah, and I did have Crystal River down here
Okay.
to swim with the manatees. I know a couple people have done that. I would not, because fish are creepy and so are things that swim. And so I would not be down there with the manatees. And if you're boating on any of these areas, you're to watch out and stay away from the manatees.
yeah, they do the no wake and all of that because
Yeah.
these poor manatees get beat up pretty
Yeah,
bad.
well, yeah, they get the prop cut and, but they are very weird to look at. But
They're sea cows.
yeah, but I wouldn't want to swim with one. So
Do you have any others?
No, that's
my
the last one.
And my very last one I realized that I didn't mention is hanging out in our own yards. So I will tell you, if you move here or rent here and you're living here for any portion of time, that's actually one of my favorite activities. We've got a little TV out in our backyard, so when it's nice, we sit out there, we can watch TV, we can eat out there, we can, you know, we socialize out there. We have a lot of, when we have like friends over for after golf or whatever, we hang outside a lot. So my backyard is actually one of my favorite places.
Well, you guys have a hot tub, so
We have a hot
sometimes when
tub.
we golf together, she says bring your suits, and then we'll sit in the hot tub, and yeah, we spend a lot of time outside our house and your house.
Mm-hmm.
So
But my yard's tiny, so I'm not inviting anybody to come over, but I'm just saying that's one of my favorites.
my yard's pretty tiny too, because I don't own what's behind it. The golf cart would, you know, the golf course would frown on me setting up a big table and chairs out there.
Go to the beach, put your
Yeah.
feet in the sand, have your cocktail and your umbrella. Anyway, so those are some suggestions. I know we had this on our list to do as a video, and I know we've had a couple suggestions from our viewers to please do a video on things to do in and around the villages. So hope this is helpful, and hope you get to try some of them, and we'll try to insert some pictures so you can kind of see some of the places we've been and get an idea of what you're looking at. And as always, thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.
And yeah, and put any questions you have. We love hearing from you. Have a great day.